responsibility.
Finishing this fight.
Hello everyone and welcome into the Lore Council. This is Cade joined together with Keith.
Greetings and salutations.
Salutations and greetings indeed. So today we are traveling back to 1993 in the land of the rising sun, Japan, and we are going to be talking about Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla II. It is titled this because there was a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 1 back in the 70s, which was, the first one. So they called this one Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, despite the fact that it is not a sequel to that. It is indeed a sequel to Godzilla vs. Mothra, which we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, or towards the start of March, so...
Yes, this is Godzilla 5.
Godzilla 5 in the Heisei era. Obviously, the first one is Return of Godzilla, then we have Godzilla vs. Biollante, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Mothra, and now this one. And overall, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, so I called this mid earlier, and I think that's pretty accurate. It's not like mid in that it pretty much falls into like the middle of my categorization of these movies. It's kind of, it's not as good as like Biollante or Ghidorah, but it's better than Mothra and Return of Godzilla.
Yeah, and I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah, middle ground there. Not amazing, but also not terrible. Enjoyable. Sure. You might look at your watch a couple times while watching it, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's far from like, I have to turn this off halfway through.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mothra did that to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, the Godzilla design in this movie continues the Heisei era's tradition of having really, really dope-looking Godzilla.
Yeah, it did seem better in this one. Godzilla looked like he has like animatronics in his face now, so you can kind of wiggle his eyebrows a little bit. Instead of just having like a solid static, Godzilla head, and which is like when you do a close up on the camera, it's obviously just a little, it's a helmet thing, but they put some stuff in there, so now it looks kind of real.
Yeah, and as the movies in the Heisei era kept going on, they just got better and better. And, as we progress towards the modern day, the effects are going to get better as well. Because, while Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, this is my personal favorite incarnation of Mechagodzilla, by the way.
Are there more after this? Well,
yes.
I mean, I guess he's in King Kong versus Godzilla, right?
Yeah, he's in Godzilla vs. Kong, and then
Sure.
there are two movies that Mechagodzilla is in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay, yeah, those movies.
Yeah, those ones. He looks really good in those ones, but this one, he looks really sleek, really shiny, and...
I think his neck is too long.
Yeah, neck's a little bit long, but it's okay, because he's
He needs, like, bigger head, shorter neck.
Bigger head, shorter neck. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Overall, looks really cool. Rodan, however, I think falls a little short in this movie.
Yeah, Rodan looks like kind of like a okay, well, from far away a little bit, it's like a I don't know, like a wireframe model with peanut butter on it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, they had.
I don't know, and like the way like it kind of breaks immersion a little bit because you're looking at this little model bird thing flapping its wings and flying around. It's like, okay, that's not a real bird, or a real pterodactyl.
Pteranodon, they're so much fun.
It's not a real flying thing, is what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's very, very obvious, which is really weird because, despite the movie not being the best ever, Mothra and Batra looked really, really good in Godzilla vs. Mothra. Like, they both looked really good. Like,
oh yeah, they had good directing for sure.
Good directing, and then like immediate downgrade as far as like Rodan is concerned. But he does look really good though. Like the model looks cool. It's just it's not directed well.
Like the model looks fine, but just the way it's directed, it's kind of crappy. Yeah, Mothra definitely has that up on this movie with the Batra scenes. It's just the overall story of Mechagodzilla kind of elevates it above Mothra.
Yeah, true.
Very weird.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy this one. It's a good romp to, you know, kind of put on. You don't have to, like, stare at it and, you know, divulge into the plot.
Yeah, it's not going to cloud your mind with too many issues there or plot things.
Yeah, the plot's, you know, fairly simple, but it does have a really fun man versus nature theme to it that we can all kind of easily digest.
I did not get that at all. Like,
No.
I do not know what the hell the moral of this movie was supposed to be.
I
I was expecting something different. I've seen this movie before, like a couple years ago, but I was expecting something different.
Yeah, it's just one of those things of well, with Baby Godzilla, you know, we get a little bit of nature versus nurture, and then in the bigger plot of Godzilla fighting Mechagodzilla, we get the whole man versus nature thing. You know, should we be trying to destroy nature?
Yeah, I guess you get like a little bit of I don't know. Like they bring it up when like they figure out that the whole reason Godzilla was rampaging is because they stole his baby, you know, the egg. They're like, oh no, you know, Godzilla's in the right, and then they still try to kill him anyway. Yeah. And then it's only after that they fail to kill him that they're like, okay, let's just give him the baby back, and everything's fine now. Everyone lives. Nobody died. Nobody who was in the Mechagodzilla thing died. If I was gonna like do this movie, I would have had it be very similar plot. Like with, you know, I like the part where they got the team forming with like Mechagodzilla, but it seems like they really want to kill Godzilla, even though he only rampages when he's messed with, and he kind of helped out with Mothra. But they really want to kill Godzilla, and it's like, you know, why like it? I don't know. Like there should have been like more conflict surrounding that. Like, I think there's one part where, like, the psychic chick is in Mechagodzilla, and she takes a little bit to aim, and they're like, fire right now, and then she does it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, it does, you know, it kind of dances around that, but the characters just, they don't, she's supposed to be, like, the character you know, identify with. She's been in the last like 4 movies, the psychic chick, but then she kills Godzilla even though she understands he's a living creature and all this other crap. She's like, and the baby and everything, like, nah, just kill him. And then only by happenstance was he saved.
Yeah,
so that definitely rubbed me wrong. Like, I would have rather, I don't know. And then of course Godzilla defeats Mechagodzilla, and nobody in the Mechagodzilla dies. They all live. And the captain's like, well, something, it's, you know, man against nature.
Yeah, give me the Beat Boys and free my soul.
I don't know, but, yeah, this one, it also gave me flashbacks to Mothra versus Godzilla, because, again, what do these scientists do? They go to a random-ass irradiated island, and they're like, oh, here's a giant egg, let's take it, even though we had, like, 2 giant creatures attack us while we had it. And let's take it back to Tokyo or whatever. Then nothing will happen. Q3 Godzilla rampages in a row.
Yeah.
Thousands dead.
Billions of yen in damage.
Like, when are scientists going to learn to stop stealing giant eggs?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just totally jumped the shark on everything there, but
yeah, totally good, because it's
I have some passion on this.
Good to get it out there. But yeah, overall, this movie takes place obviously after Godzilla vs. Mothra, which takes place after Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, which is relevant because the United Nations establishes G-Force, which is the Godzilla, basically the anti-Godzilla.
Not a team of hamsters or guinea pigs.
No,
I thought that was funny when like the main character guy gets assigned to G-Force. I'm watching the dub, of course, so when he gets assigned, he's like, G-Force?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually watched the dub as well, and yeah, it does bring you out a little bit, but hey, when you can't find these movies for purchase easily, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. You gotta sail on the high seas.
Sail on the high seas of Ask G-Mateys, because G-Force salvages King Ghidorah's remains and reverse engineers them to build Garuda, which is a aerial gunship, and a mecha, which is modeled after Godzilla, that they very, very conveniently just call Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I thought they reverse engineered the future technology from King Ghidorah to make Mechagodzilla.
Yep, and the flying gunship.
I do like that. I like the continuity with Ghidorah and all that.
Yeah, that's what I do really, really love. Even if the Heisei films aren't like the greatest ever as a bunch, they do have a nice little knit continuity where it's kind of before the early 2000s where every Godzilla movie was its own reboot of the franchise. So,
right.
Yeah, it is really, really nice to have that and have stuff have consequences.
Is it weird that I think this movie should have had like a darker tone, considering like basically the movie basically starts out with like, you know, hey, we're creating Mechagodzilla in order to kill Godzilla, like, you know, it should be a little bit edgier.
Yeah, it definitely could have been. I think it's before we reached like mid 90s like super edge, where everything was edgy to appeal to those grunge kids. Also, I guess you kind of have to take into the fact that I would assume, at least, you know, Japan was probably very culturally different than America in the early 90s when this movie was made. Yeah. So that probably also has a factor in it as well. Although unfortunately, am not very familiar with 1992 Japan.
Well, it seems like the stuff like explaining like, you know, Mechagodzilla and all that, it's very dramatic. There's just like dramatic music playing and stuff like that. But then we get to like the characters, the human characters, and it gets kind of goofy pretty fast.
Well, there is a Pteranodon expert.
Right, yeah, they bring on the Pteranodon expert to the Godzilla killing team. Yeah. No idea why. I wonder if there's going to be a giant Pteranodon in the film.
Yeah, that would be absolutely crazy if there was like a radiated giant Pteranodon. That'd be like insane.
Yeah, the movie should really be called Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla and Rodan.
Yeah, I mean,
this movie's gonna make me forget that Rodan's name is Rodan, because in the dub it is pronounced. It's not pronounced. They say Radon.
Radon.
Not sure where that came from.
I think that's also what Rodan was called in the English dubs of like earlier movies. At least in Godzilla King of Monsters, at least they called him Rodan.
Okay.
So we got that at least. Later on, they corrected it. But yes, a couple of years later, after the start of the movie, on a mission to an island, they come across what they think is a large Pteranodon egg, which then sends off a signal that attracts ya boy Godzilla and Radon, and they have a fight, which is pretty fun to watch in the parts that Rodan doesn't look like a chicken on a wire.
Yeah, it's okay. It looks a little goofy sometimes.
Yeah, it's
like Rodan just kind of gets on top of Godzilla and just starts pecking him.
Yeah, well, it's not like he can do much else. He doesn't have like arms.
And his explosion powers don't show up until later in the movie.
Yeah, until they're relevant. But yeah, Godzilla wins because it's your boy, the big G. And however, the team that stole the egg is able to escape with the egg, and they bring it to...
They're like, these events don't correlate with anything.
No, that'd be ridiculous. Why would us stealing this egg have anything to do with these giant kaiju attacking us?
Humans stealing giant eggs has never caused anything bad to happen, ever.
Again, I think,
Let's take it to a heavily populated area.
Yeah, again, I think it's one of those things where, man's hubris kind of allows the events of this film to take place.
Yeah, but the movie doesn't really say any of that, like...
Yeah, but you don't need it to. It tells you that because the Japanese government is obsessed with taking giant eggs to Kyoto, Japan.
The anagram lovers, Tokyo.
Yeah.
You get it? Get that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Futurama reference.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so
I have ridden the mighty moonworm. No. Okay. Moving on.
moving on. Yeah, so from there, the egg is brought to Kyoto, Japan, where it hatches. And oh my gosh, it was not a pteranodon. It was a baby Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, and baby Godzilla looks he looks
exactly like his previous era's counterpart.
Well, not quite.
Not exactly, but same level of goofiness.
Yeah, he looks a little.
And they're like,
he looks a little better. Well, he looks a lot better than the Son of Godzilla from the, I think, 60s Son of Godzilla.
Oh, yeah. But it's a similar look, you know. And yeah, they're like, oh my god, it's Godzilla. No, wait, it's not. It's a thing that looks very similar to Godzilla, but it eats plants.
Yeah, so...
And Godzilla is a carnivore, apparently?
A radioactive lizard?
They've never talked about what he eats exactly. He just likes to blow stuff up.
Well, in the, or maybe I'm thinking of a different one. A later movie. Godzilla likes radiation.
Oh, that's what he feeds on. Okay.
Yeah, because I think it...
So maybe young Godzilla just has to eat some leafy greens?
Some leafy greens? Yeah, well, I mean, you know, Popeye eats spinach, so that makes him big and strong, so why would it not do the same thing for a baby Godzilla?
G.
I'm olive oil, I'm a baby Godzilla.
That's Godzilla when he eats that Mechagodzilla. He gets his Rodan spinach.
The Rodanich. Delicious. Remember, kids, eat your spinach. From Rodan. But yeah, so they basically conclude that Godzillosauruses apparently sometimes lay eggs in other species' nests. Basically,
yeah, like the European cuckoo.
Yeah, by the cuckoo bird.
It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Totally unrelated to any other events.
Well, I mean, like, I guess you could make the argument that, like, in prehistory times, the Godzillasaurus would have done it. So, since Godzilla is just an irradiated Godzillasaurus, that, like, natural instinct kind of remains, I guess.
I don't know.
You can take the Godzillasaurus out of prehistory, but you can't take the prehistory out of the Godzillasaurus.
Sure.
Yeah. And, so basically what happens again is baby Godzilla does his psychicness, which apparently is a thing, and Godzilla shows up.
His eyes glow red.
Yeah, his eyes glow red, and he shows up, and we get the first big, kind of the first big, I would say, fight, I guess, between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla.
Wasn't there like a destruction scene or two?
Yeah, we get some destruction scenes as Godzilla
people
is
running away.
Yeah, some very classic. And again, like, even if like the stories and the plots aren't like the best, like the destruction scenes in this, when everything was still like a practical effect and a man on the suit like smashing replica buildings, it's all really, really fun to watch. Really, really good to look at too.
I feel like there could have been more Godzilla destruction. Like, he maybe knocks down like a couple things, but
yeah, he has a little.
I felt like it was all like really wide shots of him just kind of mucking around and people just like running away in the foreground.
Yeah, I think it's because in like this movie, Godzilla is kind of like the anti-hero, I guess you could say, so they didn't want to frame him.
Supposed to be like the good guy kind of.
Yeah, they didn't want to frame him like a super negative light like he has been in kind of the last couple movies.
Yeah, I actually did get a little upset when they zerped Godzilla's lizard brain.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, but yeah, we get a really fun
first fight.
Yeah, first fight, really fun.
I thought it was too short.
Yeah, well, it's because they're gonna have them fight again later.
Should have been longer.
Yeah, well, but
it's cool. You got the team, the human team running Mechagodzilla up in his head, and they're got a Zerp Godzilla. Mechagodzilla has like rainbow atomic breath or something. He has like an Iron Man thing that like a beam he can shoot out of his chest.
Yeah, really cool.
And he's got rockets and he freaking flies around and stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. The suit from Mechagodzilla is really, really well designed as well, and the amount of effects that went into it are awesome. Really, really
It's a
fun to
little
watch.
goofy when like Mechagodzilla kind of just hovers around and stuff, but for the most part, it looks fine. I like when he's flying, like through the air, kind of like a jet. He looks like how Godzilla looks when he's swimming underwater.
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah, it's
That's
kind
cool.
of a cool little
It's
parallel.
like an aerodynamic little thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Mechagodzilla flies through the air while Godzilla swims through the sea.
Mm.
And
We are not the same.
And baby Godzilla waddles around on land.
Yeah, he just does the doggy paddle.
Yeah, but yeah, eventually, Godzilla destroys Mechagodzilla with the oh goodness, what's it called? Oh, I watched a big video on this. I think it's the nuclear pulse, where Godzilla kind of shoots out like a big wave of thing.
I just remember Godzilla tipping over Mechagodzilla. I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, it's always a little bit stiff when the kaiju get like knocked over, because obviously it's just a dude in like a big rubber suit, so they don't have like a ton of range of motion. And
Yeah, I thought he should have said he should have been like, "That's called Mechagodzilla tipping." Ha ha ha.
But yeah, and then Godzilla's annoyed because he can't find Baby Godzilla because they shield the telepathic link between Baby Godzilla and
Yeah, the
Big
scientists
G.
figure out what's happening finally.
Yeah, and they end up shielding Baby Godzilla from Godzilla, so Godzilla gets mad, destroys some more of Kyoto before he asks for the Beach Boys to free his soul, and he just wanders back into the ocean. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm referencing, just type in like Godzilla Drift Away. It's just
what is that?
Yeah, so you know the song. I don't remember who it's by, but you know the song "Give Me the Beat Boys and Free My Soul." Oh,
Yeah.
There's a video. I think it was on Vine maybe, and there's just a dude who just walks into a lake while that song is playing, and so then people like put the music over Godzilla when he's like walking back into the ocean. It's really funny. If you haven't seen it, it tickles like the idiot lizard part of my brain. So go give it a watch after you watch this video.
Alrighty.
But yeah, so they end up doing some tests on Baby G, and they find out that for some reason Godzillas have a second brain in their hips that control their movement. And everyone's just like, well, if this baby has it, then Godzilla has to have it too.
Yeah, they all assume pretty quickly.
Yeah, literally just like,
When
well...
before, they weren't even sure if it was a Godzilla.
Yeah, now they're like, well, it's got a second brain, so this
It's
has
exactly
to be a
the same as Godzilla.
Yeah, even though it's like tiny and it doesn't... It's got the dorsal fins, so it's a Godzilla. But yeah, so they're, G-Force is like, oh yeah, Godzilla has two brains. This is a thing now. So they're like, well, how about we act completely stupid and use the baby as bait so we can have another kaiju fight.
And yeah, works like a charm.
Yeah, it works like a charm. This time, Miki Saigasa, the psychic, is put onto Mechagodzilla's team because since she's a psychic with a psychic link to Godzilla, she'll be able to find the second brain because,
I thought she just had to be on the team because the main guy got kicked off of it.
Nah, it's because they can. Since she's a psychic, she can find a second brain.
Oh. And the movie didn't seem like she was using her psychic powers. It just seemed like she was using like this scanner thing in the Mechagodzilla.
Yeah,
So,
I remember.
Totally missed that.
Yeah, when I watched the sub before I went back to rewatch and had to watch it on the dub, it's a bit more apparent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, after everybody gets all settled in, ready for the plan, Radon shows up because he has survived his battle and now he's been further mutated, and he's also responding to Baby Godzilla's call because they shielded him from Godzilla, but not Radon.
Yeah, I guess Baby Godzilla has he can get his signal out somehow.
Yeah, he's like a Dish Network TV man. He's gonna.
Yeah, so they put the baby Godzilla and this chick who's like who's been in charge of taking care of him like the whole movie,
Yep.
and they're in like a container or whatever, and then Rodan blows up the helicopter that's like transporting them in the container, and then just picks it up. You're like, mine.
Yeah, this is my baby. Unfortunately for Rodan,
There's no explanation in the movie why Rodan is doing anything that it does.
Yeah, it's because psychic calls.
They're lizard super friends.
Yeah, they're lizards. Obviously, the Godzillasaurus and the Pteranodon, very, very close friends in prehistory.
Irradiated dinosaurs got to look out for each other, man.
They do, especially when there's a giant metal mech dinosaur out to get them.
That's very true.
Yeah, very, very true.
The giant robot is the irradiated dinosaur's natural predator.
Oh yeah, it's
the way it's been for centuries.
Yeah, for millennia even. Eons.
When worlds collide. You know that episode of SpongeBob?
Oh yeah, when worlds collide. Yeah, so worlds collide, however, because Mechagodzilla and Radon now have a fight. Short little fight. Rodan just gets his ass handed to him, and he's out for the count. Godzilla then shows up, however. He is back from his trip to the ocean, and they have a short little fight. And then we get the cool little, really, really fun scene, I think. Very, very 90s Japanese TV, where Garuda and Mechagodzilla combine to become Super Mechagodzilla.
And basically the Garuda just goes onto Mechagodzilla's back like a little backpack.
Yeah, and he gets gigantic cannons. Looks really, really cool. And then he kind of fucks up Godzilla, and Godzilla is down for the count. But
Godzilla's dead.
Yeah, Rodan
I was horrified, but
oh yeah, well.
They just vaporize his little lizard brain.
Yeah.
And then Rodan is just kind of flying around, and Mechagodzilla is like, oh, you want some too? Just like, boom! Just completely annihilates him.
Yeah. Thank goodness that, Rodan, lands next to Godzilla.
He lands right on top of Godzilla, and then uses the power of friendship to heal him.
Yeah, it regenerates Godzilla's second brain, and he's supercharged.
He pulls a phoenix tear.
Yeah.
Harry Potter. But yeah, we get supercharged Godzilla.
Yeah, super, super cool. Really fun. Get a last little bit. And Godzilla destroys Super Godzilla. Form. Yeah. Well, not quite final form Godzilla yet. We'll get that in a couple movies. But yeah.
It did satisfy me with the amount of fights it had at the end.
Yeah, really, really fun. Godzilla, since he's all supercharged, he just yolks Mechagodzilla, and he's firing some sort of super atomic breath, and he's able to break through Mechagodzilla's rainbow beam thing. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but again, in Japanese, it has the super special atomic breath.
Oh yeah, sure. You can see the little logo comes onto the bottom of the screen. Yeah, super atomic breath. TM.
Yeah.
I really like. I think he picks up Mechagodzilla by the legs and then just tosses him to the side. It's really funny.
Yeah, no, super, super, super awesome, super great.
He totally destroys Mechagodzilla, but then everybody inside is fine. Even though we go into we see inside the Mechagodzilla and everything's all blown up, and the computer's saying Mechagodzilla destroyed, no survivors, and you see the dude. He's like, "Oh, well, that's not true. We're all alive." They all just walk out like nothing. Main guy just lights a cigar. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and I looked it up. It is called the Spiral Heat Ray. So. Spiral Heat Ray, even better than the atomic breath. But yeah. So after this, we basically get the.
Classic Godzilla ending.
Yeah, well, I guess you could say reunion, but I guess they haven't really met yet. But Godzilla and Baby Godzilla, they finally meet, and Baby Godzilla's like, "Oh my God, this thing is like a giant, demon monster. Oh my God, I don't want to go with him." And then
Yeah, he hides in the little container.
Yeah, and then Mickey, the telepath, is like, "No, bro, it's okay. This is your dad now." And then we get the classic Godzilla ending, as you were about to say, where they walk off into the sunset in the ocean after causing, probably thousands of deaths and billions of dollars of damage.
Yeah, and the main guy, the main captain of like the Mechagodzilla says something. Yeah, that's that's what happens when you go up against nature. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Them's the dice, and them's the cards.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was much better in the subtitled version.
Oh, I'm sure, as it always is. But yeah, that's it. That's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Pretty fun romp. And I would agree with Keith. It's pretty mid. Definitely falls in like the middle of the Heisei era. Yeah, definitely not as good. It has some good highs, but its lows, unfortunately, are also pretty low. Like, Rodan is only in here to get killed, so he can give Godzilla the friendship power.
Yeah, and nothing really stands out that much. Like, the characters don't really stand out that much. Story doesn't really do anything. It's kind of, it's like super basic, like how we just described. They take the egg draws Godzilla, they gotta fight with Mechagodzilla, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely not the most fun, but if you haven't seen it, it is a pretty fun romp.
It kind of just feels like Mothra versus Godzilla all over again, but with just different monsters.
Yeah, it's like Godzilla versus Mothra, but good.
Right. Yeah, if you took out the pixie chicks and the song and all that stuff, just made the human stuff better. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I would love to see like a remake of this movie, doing like the same concept and premise, but just done more seriously.
Yeah, I think they kind of tried to do it in Godzilla vs. Kong, but then they also had to like have it kind of wrapped in with the whole King Kong story.
Yeah, it's funny how that movie kind of does. It does Mothra and also, Mechagodzilla. Very interesting.
Yeah, I wish they hadn't killed Mechagodzilla in its first like foray into the MonsterVerse a couple of years ago, because I think with like the direction they've been going with American Godzilla, we could have gotten a more fun, serious take on Mechagodzilla.
Fun but serious?
Well, like, like more fun, like a more fun movie to watch. Like, how like Godzilla vs. Kong is like, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely fun, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's also like good to watch. But it's
also kind of goofy.
Yeah, it's like goofy, but the movie takes itself seriously. Whereas this movie, I don't feel took itself super seriously.
Yeah, even though it seems like it should have, really, really weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the movie hypes you up at the beginning with like the super serious music showing Mechagodzilla. Like there's this scene of like these I don't know, business people or corporate people walking in to like see like the head of or Cyber Ghidorah or whatever. It seemed like it was going to be a little bit more serious, but then it's not.
Yeah, they definitely
like a lot of the movies just baby Godzilla and the chick who's taking care of him, and then this nerdy like loser. I don't know. He's kind of a wimpy guy who's like the main guy we follow around for most of the movie. It's just weird. Like the character's motivations, like the goofy guy is basically the one who ends up coming up with the plan to like kill Godzilla, pretty much.
Yeah.
But no one talks about this. No one. It's not brought up, or no one feels guilty about anything except the psychic chick. But one time she brings it up once, then it's never discussed again. It's like, why? Like, because the audience cares about Godzilla getting killed, even though he's the monster and all that. I think at this point people probably cared, right?
Yeah, about I think Godzilla. This is definitely where they kind of it's kind of Godzilla is becoming like the anti-hero that like, most of like Western audiences kind of know him to be, where like, yeah, he destroys stuff, but he's not like evil. He's more of like a force of nature. Like kind of the same
I mean,
way.
he
Like,
basically saved the day in Mothra.
yeah, he saves the day in Mothra, and here, like, he isn't like destroying the city out of like, it's not like Return of Godzilla or the original Godzilla, or even Godzilla versus Biollante, where like he's doing it out of like, again, it's not even like evil. It's just more
It's like a compulsion.
yeah, it's like he's, you know, kind of like a force of nature, you know, like in the same way you wouldn't call like a tornado is not like evil. It doesn't have like insidious like intentions behind it. Like it's just like a force of nature.
Yeah, and he was doing the classic, you know, like mother going to protect its baby kind of thing. But pretty like I said, as soon as Godzilla like they kill Godzilla and they're like, oh crap, but then he comes back, beats up Mechagodzilla, and you're like, okay, all right, let's just give the baby back. There you go, here's your baby back. All right, you know, mea culpa, kumbaya, you know, Hakuna Matata. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, it's
it's like nobody cares. Just go. We're done.
Yeah, but
man.
but yeah, that's
I do like that the end credits is it's just a shot of Godzilla walking into the sea with little baby Godzilla.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and yeah, that's about it for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2.
Indeed.
Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this or any other content that we put out on the Lore Council, drop the video a like and a subscribe. It helps us go a long way as we're trying to grow the channel. We also have a Discord, so if you're inclined to join that and have some nerdy conversation with the boys and I, go ahead and join that. Otherwise, this has been Cade from the Lore Council, signing off.
This is Keith. Hasta la vista, baby.